my name is Jill Tenney. I'm going to share a little bit of my experience as a director. So it all started for me, I was in an acting class. I was feeling a little bit frustrated with sort of what the assignments were and, being told like, oh, well, this is what's out there. And so I and some of the other students were feeling like, we're actors and writers, and we said, well, let's just produce our own stuff. It happened to be that the guy who was running the acting class said, well, I'm starting a production company, small production company, so we can talk about doing something. So ended up writing a web series with a couple other people, and it sort of came down to, will you be able to pay a director? Will you be able to pay a producer? Will you be able to pay for this, and this? Just kind of go down the checklist, like, no, can't pay for that, can't pay for that, can't pay for that. So because it was mostly my idea, I became the director, and that was something I was happy with. The producer part, it was very stressful, so I was dealing with that too. So basically on the first project, that I kind of fell into, I was wearing a lot of hats. The directing part of it, so I'm somebody who has no real background in directing. I'd never set out to be a director. I didn't go to film school or anything. I really depended on the experience of the DP as far as, because this was a shoot, it wasn't a stage play that I was directing. So that's a very different thing. So I was dependent on, what do you need from me? What does a director do in this situation? Calling action, calling cut, pretty basic stuff like that. We just shot an insane number of pages over 2 days, and those 2 days are a blur for me. So it was just very, very stressful. I didn't really get the chance to spend as much time on the directing or on any aspect of it, to do any of it as well as I would have hoped. I think if it all comes down to your budget, if you're talking about anything that's going to be filmed, it starts with the budget, and then that dictates everything. If you haven't fundraised, if you have very little money to work with, you're probably going to be wearing a lot of different hats. So if you want to direct, then see if you can try and get somebody else to produce for you, and then having an assistant director. I had an assistant director on that first shoot, and she was pretty experienced on film sets. She'd done some independent films and some extra work, so I was able to really depend on her. So those two people, the DP and the AD, I was really able to lean on them a lot. So it was something all those roles in the directing was something I did out of necessity, but actually work with the actors and say, can you interpret this line differently in this take, and give me a little bit more of this in this take. When I actually got to direct, that was a lot of fun, and that's the essence of that is the same, whether I think it's in a stage play or whether you're doing a take on camera. And then since then I did the same thing again, did another web series where I produced it. I was also acting in both of these things, so I was directing myself. I don't know if I recommend that. Not my favorite thing to do. So, and I directed a few little shorts. So these were just very, very, very small scale. The first web series, I had 2 cameras and a sound guy and a set assistant. He was kind of the gopher. So, very small crew there. The shorts that I did and the second web series that I did, it was really just one guy handling everything. He was the camera, he was the light, he was the sound, and he was just really great to work with. So on a personal level, like as far as directing, if you're attracted to directing in that you want to work with actors to bring a script, to life and draw a performance out of them, that's very rewarding if that really speaks to you. But there's dangers to everything. So one danger is if you're having to work with somebody who is difficult. It's pretty obvious that would be a hard thing to deal with, but like somebody who doesn't want to be there, who doesn't want to listen to you. I've dealt with that. And it can just, it puts a huge strain on a film production because time is money. So you're distracted from all these other things you need to do by dealing with one person who's very high maintenance. So for me personally, having come to directing kind of as a means to an end of wanting to, bring forth my own work. And it really was about, for all of us, it was like, what roles do we want to play? It goes back to that acting class, like what do we want to do? So then how do we do it ourselves? And so it was all kind of a means to that end. So I would say being in charge of a film set, however small, is really not my first choice, honestly, but I really would like to direct again because, first of all, I'm an actor. That is the whole reason I'm involved in, stage plays, and that's my goal, is to make a living as an actor. But a lot of actors also direct, because I just think they really kind of go hand in hand a lot of times. And I've been really inspired by, having done stage, I've been really inspired by some of the directors I've worked with. And it just becomes so obvious, like, who is a really good director and who's a really bad director. And the really good ones are the people who, they ask questions, like, why would you be saying this here? Why are you not leaving? Why is it such a good day for you? Why are you saying this line? And then the other people, like on the opposite end, I'd say a really bad direction is actually giving formal line readings, like sit in the audience, here's your lines, I'm going to play you, and this is how I want you to say them. So like really, really opposite ends of the spectrum there that I've dealt with. Being a stage director, I think that is something I would like to do in the future, because that's more, just purely delving into the acting side of it. And you're getting to, sit out there and bring these actors together, bring the set design, the costume, sound effects, everything together into one whole. But yeah, I would still say, doing a very small scale project like I've done in the past, that's something I would consider doing again. It can be fun, especially if you have more people involved pre-production. Because like working with SAG was one of the things that I had to do. And it was just really, really, really stressful for me. The last web series that I did, somebody else was willing to do that. And it just took a huge weight off my shoulders. So I was able to, really pay attention to the things that I felt I was good at dealing with. So just the more people you can get on your crew, it does come down to, again, it's like going back even before that, like fundraising, having a big network of people who you can draw on as far as fundraising, and have a big social media following. The more you have that, and the more you can get funds together, the more resources you have, and the more people you can rely on to delegate the tasks. As far as what my experiences have been and the takeaways, like if you're doing very small scale, you're probably going to be looking at wearing a lot of hats. So just kind of be aware of the dangers of that, and how you can be spread too thin, and like all those roles can then suffer. So the more support you have and the more resources you have, the better for you. So I hope that helps. It's enlightening for anybody out there. And I don't know, maybe if you've gone to film school, you have more insight than that. But it's coming from somebody who just kind of fell into it sort of by accident. So thank you for listening.